Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me again and I'm here today with a lovely lady, Mrs. B.
Hi.
I have her here with me today because we're going to obviously, as you've seen from the title of our video, we're going to talk about it.
The pride of nakedness.
Like seriously, I don't know what you guys think, but we have to talk about it. Like somebody has to talk about it. And today we've come together, you know, like-minded individuals to really discuss certain matters. So yeah, why we're doing this video today. Yes. So what happened? Actually, how did this come about?
Okay, so what happened was literally there was just one day I was on Instagram and I just felt like I was seeing so much booty and breast all up in my face, and I just felt like what's going on. And the thing for me was that it wasn't just that it's all over social media, because everyone knows it's over social media. It was the fact that it was people who I know are Christian women who were doing this, and it just made me think, what's happening, what's going on.
Exactly. And like when I saw her post, like I'm gonna put it up on the screen if I'm able to, but I saw that message and I was like, oh my gosh, you read my mind. Like seriously, I go onto Instagram, I don't know when I can go onto Instagram and not see some bum or breast or all in my face. So I was like really like passionate when I saw that message on her phone. I was like, listen, I thought I was the only one. And I was like, you know what, we need to talk about this, because I mean, we're here for a reason. God has put us here for a reason, and we're here to talk about this. Like, what do you guys think about it? Like, are you guys like, do you think there's a problem? Christian women
who are children of God,
that's right,
it's important for you to know what you're doing, like where do you stand.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why we're here today. So basically, Mrs. B, do you want to introduce who you are?
Okay, so my name's Lola Basari.
Yes.
I'm also called Mrs. Basari. I have a marriage ministry, so I talk about relationships, sex, motherhood, all of that good stuff. People call me Mrs. B, and yeah, that's
all her details down on the description page, and you guys might want to grab a cup of tea because this video is going to be a bit long. This is part 1 and hopefully it won't be more than 3 parts, but yeah, it might be a long video, so grab yourself a cup of tea and stay tuned. So let's get into this video.
And I don't want anyone to feel like we're perfect or we're judging people and stuff, because we all struggle with different things, right?
That's right, exactly.
Okay, so Moyo.
Yes.
So what exactly was your dress sense before? How did you used to dress before? What made you decide to change if you felt like you needed to?
Okay, so yeah, I would say, so before I would say I knew Christ, or I would say I was definitely, a new creation. I definitely know I was up in the clubs wearing clothes that are definitely not appropriate. And I can say that now. At the time, I probably did know it wasn't great, but I didn't care, because I mean, I didn't feel accountable to anybody as I do now. So I would say definitely I literally would have like outfits that was literally just covering my breast. My whole back would be out, the skirt would be proper minied down, like literally. And why did I dress like this? All I know is that I was literally more or less naked. I'm not gonna lie, I was naked out on those streets. I maybe won't wear those clothes on the streets, but yes, I didn't have any sort of like boundary.
What was it that now caused you to be like, maybe I need to change? Is it just the fact that you found Christ? Because lots of people find Christ but don't feel they need to change the way they dress.
Exactly. Well, I would say, you know what? I mean, I think no matter what, at the bottom of your heart, whether we're saved or not, and I probably knew that the dressing wasn't that appropriate. And there were certain things I was doing then that I probably knew, and I did know wasn't so great. And I always had it in the back of my head in those days that when I get to this point in my life, I'm going to stop all of this. So I think marriage was one of my contributing factors before I even got married. But I remember I used to always say, when I get married, I'm not going to do this X, Y, and Z anymore. My relationship with God improved. So one of the things was I did definitely get closer to God. And like I said, back then I knew it. There was something. There was at least 10% of me knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't right.
There'd always be a part of you that tells you Girl.
I'm telling you, and it was there, but the 90% was like, no, you're fine, you look good, you know. Obviously, the more you get to understand God, you know, and so and even the reason why I used to dress like that then was for attention. I'm not even gonna lie. I would wear those sort of clothes because, for one, it was the norm, it was what everybody was doing, and it was it's so easy for you to kind of like follow the crowd and do what everybody else is doing. But I also kind of I wanted to belong, I wanted to feel attractive, and I felt like what I was wearing was going to help, you know, boost that. And I think once I started to understand who God was and got closer to him, I realized that my identity was not in the opinions of other people or their acceptance of me. I knew that I needed to just get accepted by Christ, and that's what really, really, really mattered more than anything else. So that transition did take some time, but that definitely helped me to, you know, change certain things
about your dressing. And that doesn't mean that so you are a nun, because I mean you look very nice today.
Exactly.
You know, you can see collarbone, it's nice.
Thank you. But you know,
like we still want to look beautiful, and we still want to look decent and appealing and attractive. I mean, if we're married, we need to be looking good for our husband.
Exactly.
If you're single, you need to be looking good for your future husband, right? You know.
Exactly.
But it's about, like, to a certain degree how far you're going to take it. So it's great to look nice and it's great to look attractive and appealing, but you don't need to be trashy. You don't need to be degrading, and you don't need to cause other people to stumble in their walk as well.
Exactly, because that then brings me on to, I've talked a bit about my past. Is there anything about you, you know, how you were before you knew Christ, before you were saved?
Exactly. So I mean, I wasn't a good girl. I gave my I gave my life to Christ when I was 10 years old.
Oh wow.
So like I've always wanted to please God first from like a really young age, but that doesn't mean you don't get caught up in what's going on around you. So growing up as a teenager, you still want to like dress the way your friends dress and stuff like that. And I remember being 17 and I was wearing like this short mini skirt because I used to feel like it does make you feel good, even if like you don't want the attention. Secretly you get a bit of a boost. So it's kind of like if somebody likes your post on Instagram, I mean, you might not even know the person, but just because they've liked your post, you feel as a mini like, oh yay,
it's nice. It's
good. That's the truth of it. It's like it gives you some form of validation in some sense. It might be a false sense of validation, but the truth is that's what happens to our egos.
That's it.
And when you walk past the building site and the builder's wolf whistle and stuff like that, you might be like, oh, that's so rude, but secretly you're like, okay.
Yeah.
The truth is it does something to your psyche, to your ego, right?
It does.
So I did enjoy looking nice and wearing short skirts or whatever, but it was the day that my best friend's mum said, why do you wear these kind of clothes? And I was like, well, first of all, I don't dress like that all the time, and the one-off time or the few times that I do wear it shouldn't be any of your concern, because I know the kind of girl that I am. I know the kind of person that I am. I'm not someone that just goes sleeping around with people, so don't make assumptions about me. And I remember her saying that, well, that's the thing, people don't know you, people don't know who you are, but what you wear is
how they will address you.
They will address
There's
you.
even a saying that you are addressed by how you are dressed.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's true. And you don't want to be like, whatever, it's all about my heart. But before I see your heart.
Before they see the heart, they're going to see how you're dressed. Exactly. And she said to me, the thing is, like, you might be okay and you might be sure of yourself and who you are when you're walking down the street wearing that mini skirt. But what you don't know is the man who can see you walking down the street might not even do anything. He might not approach you for your number, he might not wolf whistle, but he's seen you and he's got that mental image in his mind, and something in him might be triggered to act on it. So it might not happen that day, it might not happen the day after, but maybe like next week or something, he's still got that image of you dressed like that, and he's going to act on it, but on somebody else. He might rape somebody who he sees walking down the street the other day, and like you might feel like it's not my responsibility, but there is a sense of responsibility that we have to hold how we dress, because we can't know how what we do will affect other people as well.
That's
and
it.
obviously that doesn't mean we need to dress up in a burqa and, you know, like
Exactly.
a nun and all of that, but just be decent, because you don't know how you might cause somebody else to stumble or
That's right.
to fall. And talking to a 17-year-old who is very strong-minded and strong-willed, it was that message from her that made me say, okay, from now on, I'm just going to dress how I want to be addressed, if that makes sense.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That really makes a difference. I mean, definitely. And I think if someone is going to pull you up on this, you don't need to get upset. Like, even us doing this video today, we're not here to say, oh, do this, do that. And we're not saying that we are even perfect, because my next thing I even wanted to discuss was why even I'm still struggling today as a Christian, that I even know Christ and I've definitely forsaken some of the things that I used to do. Why sometimes I still might think, oh, this might not be appropriate, Moyo, and I'm ready to wear it, and then something now comes to me. I will even say that it's because of what we see around us, which is why what you know, Mrs. B said was, you have to take responsibility, because you don't know how you are impacting others. And no matter what, whether you like it or not, you might think, oh, it's me, it's my life. No, you actually have a responsibility, and everything you do, people are watching. People are watching everything about you, and they're picking up things that they want to pick from you. So if you want people to pick certain things from you, then you've got to be kind of like aware of how you are.
Like, for me personally, if I'm on holiday with my husband, the way that I would dress on holiday is not how I would dress normally. And I know it sounds a bit like hypocritical, like you should have one standard, but you know, something like your body, you can't deny the fact that you have a body, and you reveal it in certain places. You reveal it in some places, and you reveal it in not other places. So when I'm with my husband, I will dress a certain way if we are away from, you know, our normal life, that kind of thing.
That makes sense, because I think that was another thing I wanted to touch on was, you know, because I personally feel like, yes, I agree with you. I know if I'm on holiday, and even sometimes there's some holiday places that you go to that, you know, it might be an amusement park where it's just water rides, and all you can wear is your bikini. In fact, you can't be walking around fully clothed, because it's not appropriate. Exactly. And I remember having this discussion with my husband. I was like, you know, I will be wearing my bikini, walking around, and everybody else is wearing their bikini. And I'll make sure it's a nice, appealing bikini because I'm with my husband. But then even at that, I will obviously take loads of pictures. But then again, where am I going to post those pictures? Do I really want to post those pictures on Instagram for the whole world to see? Let me know what you guys think. Like, what do you think?
Is it okay?
Like, seriously,
is it okay to post pictures of yourself in a bikini on Instagram, if you're married, if you're single, even, like, you know? I mean, for me personally,
I'd like to know.
Okay, so for me personally, I would not. So I'm like, if I'm wearing, I don't know, like if I'm wearing a sarong over it, then like maybe if it's not showing my lady bits, you know. But a general like picture of me in a bikini to go onto Instagram when I'm a married woman, and I don't really need other people seeing what I have who know me, because obviously people on the beach want to see it, but they don't know me. It's not, you know, I'm not trying to influence them in any way. But when I post on Instagram, I'm aware that I have people who look at what I do, and I'm aware of the fact that I'm going to influence them in some way or another.
That's right.
I will not be leading anybody astray. I will not be causing anybody to sin in any way. Right. And I will not let other people who are younger than me, like other young women, feel that it's okay to flaunt your bodies online. Because where I am married and I have a husband, not everyone is in that same situation. So I don't want to make it feel like, okay, what I'm doing is okay for you to do when we are not in the same situation. If you don't have a husband, then who are you showing those pictures to?
That's it.
So, and I feel also like some of these bikini pics, it's not even the fact that you're wearing a bikini on the beach and you're taking a picture of it. It's the intent of the posing you do, the if you're posing like, hey, come get me, that kind of thing, then you know what reaction you're expecting.
That's
you know what you're trying to do. So I would say that's something you should think about.
Definitely.
Not judging, just saying think about it.
Another thing I want to touch on is basically what we could, you know, what influence it has on places like social media. People that are like Christians say that I'm a Christian, and I hope I am following the road that God expects of me. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not here to say you're not perfect, and I'm not here to judge anybody.
The whole no shade thing.
Yeah,
but we're sticking to it.
Exactly, like literally. We are not, but I mean, everything is governed by the choices we make and the decisions that we make. So what I also want to bring about is how I feel about certain people that call themselves Christians, and in this context are causing men or causing even women that have realized looking onto men anymore, women they want to look onto, to lust after them because of how they dress. I mean, what do you think about this, Mrs. B? Because it hurts me. It hurts my eyes.
Mrs. B, think about it.
Seriously.
So the day when I was having my little rant on Instagram, I was literally like astounded by, I think it was literally like that specific day, I was just seeing wave after wave after wave, like on my timeline of just so much body in my face. Yeah. And the thing that like I kept thinking about was, okay, you're Christian, you're not Christian by default or anything. It's a choice that you've made to be born again. So like, why are you acting like this? So why are you dressing like this? Why are you acting as if you are part of the world when the Bible tells us to not be conformed to it, that we're supposed to be different? So what separates you from somebody else?
Please bring up that scripture about the world.
Romans 12:1 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect.
Fantastic. That scripture is deep. Like, you can have a sermon on that scripture
based on that alone.
Because there's so much in that, is loaded. But the key thing that I want to bring out about that scripture was, do not be conformed to this world. The world system is run by Satan. He has his agenda. His time is running out. He knows what he wants. His mission is to steal, to kill and destroy. And he is prowling around like a lion and devouring whoever is open up to him. So no matter what, there is a force out there. There is a Satan out there who is,
trying the most.
He's just doing his job. But what is our job?
And when you said, like, the fact that it's end time and his time is running out, it's kind of like, if you kill a spider or something, just before it dies, it like does its like last fight in him, like before and it's like that. It's like in this last end times, he's trying to do like everything he can to just try and get as many souls as he can to come down to hell with him. And what better way of doing that? By targeting Christian influencers. Because in the social media world, it's the direct access where there's so much information where you can reach a million and billions of people in just through one avenue. So if you can get one person who has such a huge following to start acting in a certain way, then even if it's not all of their followers who follow suit, even if it's just a handful of the followers who start acting in that way, and the repercussions for those people who do are bad, and they end up, getting raped, God forbid, or fornicating, or whatever, just because they see something that worked for somebody else, then you're helping him win his battle.
That's right. That is the bottom line. And I think that's why we as Christians, if we claim to be Christians, we need to be very sensitive. We need to be very careful. We need to be very aware of our actions, especially like, we've said, we're in the age of social media, we're in the age of online. We can influence a flock of people with just what we say. Even this video, whether you accept what we're saying or you don't accept, it's going to touch somewhere. Whoever, even if it's just one person, that one person that's heard this is going to have some sort of effect in their life, whether positive or negative. That's the world we're living in. So we need to be aware of these things. And if you're calling yourself a Christian, please bring us to the light and not to the darkness. That's our mission. Our mission is to be the light of the world, not to be back into the things that we used to do, and we're calling ourselves Christians. So dressing is so key. It really does make a difference. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, and if you guys hopefully stayed tuned till the end of this video, make sure you guys subscribe down below. Give me a thumbs up if you do like this video. I'd really appreciate it. I did start this channel for the sake of my interest, which is the beauty, fashion, but the lifestyle was definitely the area that I knew God gave me the vision for. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this kind of videos. So thanks again for watching, guys. Really appreciate. I know it's been a lot we've kind of given out, but I hope it's been of some value for you guys. That was our intent, and like we've said again, it's coming from a place of love. So we hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I thank you so much again, Mrs. Basari.
Thank you.
That's mrsbasari.com. If you guys want to get in touch, like I said, she is the CEO, the founder of the Wife Life Master Course. I went on that course last couple of months ago now. It was amazing. Like, I mean, we always need knowledge. We need to be around like-minded people. We need to kind of like be this sort of power force. That is the way to go, really. And so check her out on Instagram. Her Wife Life Master Course. She's amazing. That's why we've come together, because we are like-minded and come to do this video for you guys. So any questions you guys have, any comments, suggestions, please leave them in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys on my next video.